Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
Alleluia, alleluia. If today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Alleluia, alleluia. The Lord be with you. Our reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. Jesus again, in reply, spoke to the chief priests and the elders of the people in parables, saying, the kingdom of heaven may be likened to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son. He dispatched his servants to summon the invited guests to the feast, but they refused to come. A second time, he sent other servants, saying, tell those invited, behold, I have prepared my banquet, my calves and fattened cattle are killed, and everything is ready. Come to the feast. Some ignored the invitation and went away, one to his farm, another to his business. The rest laid hold of his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. The king was enraged and sent his troops, destroyed those murderers, and burned their city. Then the king said to his servants, the feast is ready, but those who were invited were not worthy to come. Go out, therefore, into the main roads and invite to the feast whomever you find. The servants went out into the streets and gathered all they found, bad and good alike, and the hall was filled with guests. But when the king came in to meet the guests, he saw a man there not dressed in a wedding garment. He said to him, my friend, how is it that you came in here without a wedding garment? But he was reduced to silence. Then the king said to his attendants, bind his hands and feet and cast him into the darkness outside, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth. Many are invited, but few are chosen. The Gospel of the Lord. I read a story about, we could kind of say, a healing from Mary, an intervention from Mary. And it was about a young man who was part of a confraternity of the Blessed Mother, very much practicing his faith. And slowly he kind of went away and then completely began to live an immoral life. And he was living that immoral life without thinking too much. And he had an experience where he was confronted by the devil. And it scared him, so he began to call out to the Blessed Mother, and nothing seemed to happen. And the devil said to him, you can try all you want, but you're mine now. Your soul is mine. And so, even more intently, he called upon the Blessed Mother and prayed a prayer that they would pray in the confraternity. And the Blessed Mother appeared, and in that moment, the devil and all his minions, they fled immediately. They could not be in the same place as Our Lady, because her love and her heart is so pure, and they're afraid of her. But that love is so pure. And she said to the young man, I'm kind of paraphrasing, you didn't deserve this, but because of Jesus' mercy, I am here. and he turned his life around and he joined the confraternity again and stayed true to his faith. Our Father, our Heavenly Father, wants us to have desires for us to have purity of heart. And not just sexual purity, a complete purity. A purity that has no pride, a purity that isn't envious or jealous, a purity that doesn't hold grudges and anger or bitterness. It's a complete package. It's the Immaculate Heart of Mary. He desires for us to have her heart, to have the heart of his Son, the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And in Ezekiel, he promises this kind of heart. It's described very beautifully. The Father says, I will sprinkle clean water upon you to cleanse you from all your impurities, from all your idols. Right? Every idol, obstacle, keeping us from that purity of heart. God desires it. Even one of the Beatitudes, blessed are the pure of heart, they will see God. He says, I will sprinkle you, cleanse you from all your impurities, from all your idols, I will cleanse you. I will give you a new heart and place a new spirit within you, taking from your bodies your stony heart, your cold hearts, and giving you natural hearts. I will put my spirit within you and make you live by my statutes, careful to observe my decrees. The prophet Ezekiel is giving this to us in the Old Testament, and it points to that new heart, the new way of life we receive in our baptism. That new way of life that continues to grow in the power of the Eucharist, the reason you're here this morning. And like that young man, when we start to look away from God and think other idols are going to be the answer, that other idols are going to cure the loneliness, fulfill us, and we go away from God, that invitation, how we hear about in the gospel today, that invitation of Jesus to come back through the power of the sacrament of reconciliation, where our hearts are made pure again. It's so powerful and so beautiful. And as in that story that I shared, the evil one, when we fail, he wants us to believe that he's stolen us away from God, that it's permanent. And that young man made the right decision. He rebuked it. He didn't maybe say it out loud, but he rebuked it by going deeper into his faith, saying, Mary, really save me. Take me out of the grips of Satan. And in that moment, her Immaculate Heart, the evil one cannot be in that presence. And what a beautiful example for us. Whatever impurity of our heart that any of us are experiencing today, whatever it is, pride, vainglory, bitterness, unforgiveness, sexual sins, whatever it may be, the Holy Trinity and the divine plan of God has given us the Queen of Mary. Today we celebrate the Queenship of Mary as in a beautiful relationship for us to help us draw closer to them. It's his plan. It's his plan. Let's continue as we celebrate the Holy Mass to ask the Queen of Mary who is with us. She is present with us in this Mass. For her intercession for ourselves, our loved ones, to overcome all impurities, that we may more and more sustain that beautiful vision of Ezekiel, how to have this heart, to live daily in this heart that our Heavenly Father so desires for us to have now and for eternity.
Regina Celi,
Laetare